I'm Russell Beard in the Philippines, where a collaboration of science and art is giving Manila's motorways a breath of fresh air.
I'm Sylvia Rowley in Devon, UK, where one of nature's most creative and controversial creatures could be set for a comeback.
And I'm Martijn Roklitz in the Netherlands to meet the people who are repairing our throwaway culture.
Air pollution causes 3 million deaths per year worldwide and increases incidence of heart attacks and lung disease, while the nitrogen oxides emitted from engine exhaust can contribute to global warming and travel hundreds of miles before falling as acid rain, which damages ecosystems and food crops. I'm Russell Beard and I've come to the Philippines, where surprising new technology is turning the fabric of the city into an air filter. Yeah, it's on Al Jazeera English. Yeah.
Metropolitan Manila is bursting at the seams and as a result has some of the worst air pollution in the world. Epifanio de los Santos Avenue, or EDSA, is a 12-lane superhighway that carries hundreds of thousands of vehicles every day, resulting in nitrogen oxide levels over 4.5 times the safe limit set by the World Health Organization. We've heard of a project trying to help Manila clean up its act with a unique collaboration of science and art.
Well, we've come here to meet artist Jose Ruiz. He goes by the name of BOGIE.
BOGIE!
We call you BOGIE. It's a serious road, look at this. This isn't your average artist studio. Tell us what brings us here.
3 years ago, a couple of guys came to me and said, look, we've got a paint. It works to reduce pollution. Would you like to do something with it on EDSA? I said, whoa, really? Yeah, okay, why not? And the paint is supposed to absorb nitrous oxide, convert it into hydrogen and water.
Yeah.
And I said, that's very interesting. This is the paint, yeah. But remember that if you just painted it all white, people would say, all right, so what's the diff?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, to highlight it, they eventually came around to saying, why don't we get guys who'll put some motifs, make it a little more attractive, invite some discourse, you know, get it going. As we
So
speak.
you've got some guys down here. What are they doing? I thought you were finished this mural.
Well, we are, but they're polishing up some of the white areas. You know? And I remember the first thing that the curator said, so who do you think are your audience? I said, I reckon it's people in the bus, primarily. Because that's the slowest big person kind of vehicle. The train goes by in about 5 seconds. And so you don't get too much time to study. But a bus will crawl around it for 15 minutes. So I said, that's a beautiful audience.
Okay, so we've come to the BOYSEN production facility. Now we've come to meet a man called Johnson ONGKING. He's a second-generation paint manufacturer, and he's going to tell us a bit about how he's evolving his family business. Mr. Johnson.
The old concept of what environmentally friendly paint was sort of you just limited the damage.
Yeah.
You know, and the best you could do was if you could do zero damage, so to speak. But what Knockout does is pushes that envelope further and say, no, you can go beyond that and actually do something positive as opposed to just doing no harm. A key ingredient that makes knocks out an air purifier is called titanium dioxide, and specifically ultrafine titanium dioxide.
Okay.
Because most of us think of titanium dioxide as this pigment that gives paper, paint, plastics this white color.
Yeah.
But what most people don't know is if you make titanium dioxide really small, ultrafine, you can actually make it into a photocatalyst.
Photocatalysis means the sunlight causes the titanium dioxide to react with water vapor in the air, breaking it into hydrogen and oxygen-based particles, or free radicals, which then bond with NOx gases to make nitric acid, which is neutralized by calcium carbonate in the paint, producing harmless quantities of calcium nitrate, CO2, and water. This technology's been used in catalytic converters and power plants for 30 years, and it's now been estimated that 1 square metre of the paint has the same NOx cleaning power of 1 fully grown tree.
So tell me, how many trees can we fit in one of these buckets?
Wow, that's easily 100 square meters.
It's a funny thought. We're going to fill this with 100 trees worth of paint. We don't know where it's going to go. Where do you think this paint is going to end up? Who's going to buy this stuff?
Well, we have a lot of hospitals that use the product now. Universities and schools started using it. And we have a lot of petrol stations as well.
To put the air-cleaning properties of their NOx-out paint to the test, BOYSEN conducted the world's largest air-purifying paint trial at Guadalupe Station on EDSA. We visited Dr. SIMPAS, pollution expert at the Manila Observatory, to see the results.
So the question was, of course, whether this paint works. If you look at the measurements along Guadalupe, we have to change the scale.
Oh my
because it shoots out way beyond almost 3 times.
Almost three times the density.
And we had results that show the before and activation and after. If you average it, it's roughly a 20% drop.
So that's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Conclusive. With a proven 20% drop in NOx pollutants, the government got on board and is rolling out the project along the entire length of EDSA. With 10 artists and 8 murals covering a surface area of 8,000 square meters, the project promises a combined NOx cleaning power of 8,000 trees. So far, 4 of the murals have been completed, and work on the 5th piece starts tonight.
So as you can see, it's the middle of the night, and I think they're just starting it now. We need to prime it before the artist comes in, so we're going to go and give him a hand. Oh my God! We just risked our lives to come and help you out. How are you? Why are we painting at night?
Less danger.
Less danger.
For the painter to do this kind of work at night, because less traffic.
Yeah, one more fun. Just one. Oh, it's gonna take us all night. All right, let me have a shot.
Although it will take many more murals to affect global NOx levels, thanks to this new technology, an industry often associated with pollution may be being primed for a green makeover.
Wetlands are one of the world's most valuable ecosystems. As well as providing a rich habitat for plants and animals, they also clean our water, store carbon, and help to reduce flood risk. But across the world, vast swathes of them are being lost.
Here in England, 90% of wetlands have disappeared over the last 400 years.
Hi Sylvia, how are you?
Derek, good to meet you.
Derek Gow is a British farmer who's concerned about the way the countryside has changed in recent decades.
What we do with the land up here has a huge impact on how people elsewhere in the landscape live their lives. Policy has always been that you drained the land, you used it for agriculture, you used it for roads and towns and settlements, for whatever human purpose you wanted to think of. But what that essentially meant was that we were creating a landscape that was going to become drier and drier and drier.
This soil doesn't look it today, but it's actually dry and compacted and can't absorb much water, meaning heavy rains flow straight over it, leading to floods that can devastate towns and cities downstream.
If we're going to have any kind of meaningful relationship with water, what we've got to do is we've got to look at holding it on the land, and then once that heavy rainfall is over, we release it slowly. You know, it's a case of we can go on playing this endless game of wishful chicken with the elements, or we can actually grow up and realise we've got to do something about it.
Derek has recruited his neighbour John Morgan to help restore the area's wetlands.
Well, we've got a very secure fence to begin with, Sylvia. So, right, okay, well, let's go and see if we can find some field signs of what we're looking for here. Well, look, you see the path through the rushes here? Something's obviously moved through there. Vegetarian animals come along and it's taken these side shoots off. And as soon as we get into this bit of woodland, this is what we've been looking for. That funny pattern.
Wow, look at that.
On the willow there.
Is that teeth?
That's teeth. And that's been created by a European beaver.
Beavers were hunted to extinction in Britain in the 18th century, when their fur was in high demand for hats and their scent glands for medicine. But the massive rodent once played a crucial role in shaping the British countryside.
Before the beavers were here, there was a tiny, narrow stream flowing through an area that was completely overshaded by willow.
Beavers build dams across streams to make a network of pools to live in. Since Derek released these beavers onto John's Land in 2011, they've created a brand new wetland here.
This is the beaver channels that connects all the dams. They're fairly deep. They're deep enough for them to swim in.
Wow.
Think about this is sphagnum moss, and it can hold up to 60 times its own volume of water.
Wow.
So you have a flash flood above this, and this absorbs it. It's like a big sponge.
This is the dam.
It doesn't really look that solid, but it's holding that huge water mass in and stopping it from escaping.
They have used one of these trees that's fallen over.
OK. How long would it take them to make a dam like that?
Well, they've been here for just over 2 years now, and it's only the 2 beavers, and that's what they've done so far, but this is just one of 12.
You can really see why they're called nature's engineers, can't you?
You can, yeah. I mean, it's just an amazing ability, isn't it? And of course, as John said, they'll use some sort of natural structure that's there, like a fallen tree, block that, then raise it, then widen it, all the time stabilising that water and holding that water. It's a much more effective way of managing water in the upper watersheds and cleaning water than anything we've ever devised. There's a beaver there. There's one right there.
Oh, wow, look at that.
His big flat paddle-shaped tail,
look at that.
webbed hide feet, completely adapted for life in the water.
They're such funny creatures.
As well as building natural low-cost flood defences, beavers are what's known as a keystone species, meaning other wildlife depend on them for survival.
The life that you now see forming round this site simply wasn't here until the beavers came, and the beavers have created the living space for them. The North American Indians used to call the beaver the Earth's kidneys because they managed water. And of course the kidneys were the source of life.
And have you become quite fond of them?
The beavers?
Yeah.
Well, I can get fairly close. I've been within a foot of them.
That's a yes or no question, John. The answer is...
Yes.
Yes, you love them, don't you? They're your babies.
Well, I've spent far more time than I should do up there, to be quite honest.
Derek hopes beaver wetlands will appear around the country, and today we're preparing a new beaver enclosure on his farm.
Derek, why are we fencing these beavers in?
We're fencing these beavers in because at the moment we do not have any functional licences to release them in England.
The idea of reintroducing beavers into the wild is still controversial here, and Derek hopes that sites like this will help people understand the animals better.
Right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to create kind of a central soft inner chamber for an artificial beaver lodge. When we put the beavers in, we don't want them going straight through this. They have to stop, think about what they're doing, and they'll gradually start to orientate themselves around the area they're going to live in. And you've got to bear in mind that they've got like a pair of bolt croppers in their face, so for a beaver, none of this is any great problem. Once it puts its mind...
Derek, what does it mean to you to be a farmer? Because this isn't necessarily what an ordinary farmer would be doing on a Thursday afternoon.
Well, our relationship with the land from a farming point of view has changed hugely. I mean, now we view the land from a tractor. And when it comes to it, you know, this idea that, you know, George Orwell illustrated of agriculture being a long, slow conversation with nature is not that anymore. So, you know, this is it's almost a kind of form of re-engaging, if you like, with what this landscape should be. But also, these wet areas become areas where we manage water, and the water becomes another crop we produce.
Is this ready now for the beavers?
It's pretty much ready now, so all we need to do is go and put them in a box and bring them down here.
So how big are these ones?
About that size, they're babies. This is the beaver shed. This is where the beavers are. This is one of the beavers we want to catch. So,
oh, look at them.
You just wait here for 2 seconds.
Have you seen that?
Right.
Whoa.
You just stand here.
I really don't want it to bite me.
It won't bite you.
Maybe If he knew we'd built it such a nice house, he wouldn't be so reticent.
I doubt that'll count for much.
You've got it.
The high feet are webbed. So, come on, wee one.
Oh!
You just have the net there.
You want me to hold this down?
I want you just to hold that down.
Okay.
Don't let out the net. I'm going to go get Rebecca, and we're going to get a crate, and we're going to sex these beavers.
Sex the beavers. So I've been left here on my own to look after this beaver until Derek gets back. He's just gone to get some help. Its friends behind me, and they've got really sharp teeth, so I'm hoping it's not going to make a rescue attempt. So when you're saying you're sexing them, you just mean you're working out what gender they are?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what did you think I meant?
I don't know. What is sexing a beaver?
Right, okay. So put it inside.
Derek imported his first beavers from Bavaria in 2006, and this will be the third pair he's released onto enclosures on his farm.
So pop them down there.
What's that?
Pop the other one's out.
No.
Just jump over the wicket.
These two beavers have important work to do. As the climate changes, heavy rains and floods are likely to become more frequent in the UK, meaning we need the flood-reducing services of their wetlands more than ever.
I don't think you'd ever normally get them behaving like this, but because it's not used to the environment, it's just sniffing around, and it's really amazing to see it so close.
Beavers have already been reintroduced in other parts of Europe, and Derek hopes that soon they'll be set loose in the wild here.
It's been really lovely watching them swim around and explore their new home. How does it make you feel when you let them go?
Well, it's nice, isn't it? I mean, they should be here, and you see them in a setting which is entirely appropriate. I mean, beavers are part of our country's natural ecology, and the fact that we killed the last of them 250 years ago is but, a blink in time. So, they should be here again, and it's quite nice to think that these will settle in here and they'll breed, and that perhaps at some point in the future their babies will be released into the wild.
Things break, and when they do, the temptation is to just throw them away. But as we produce, consume, and discard increasing amounts of stuff, we're filling up our landfills and burning through our natural resources at alarming rates. I'm Martijn Rocklitz in Amsterdam to meet the people who are trying to change our throwaway culture. Hi, Martine.
Yes?
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. This is the Repair Cafe. It's a place where you can come with your broken items, and here you can repair them together with some repair experts from the neighborhood.
So, essentially, when you're fixing something and you don't have to buy a new one, you're saving all the process that it takes to...
It's the material that goes and the energy that goes in. Well, there's lots of things attached to only one item.
That's it.
The cafe's been open just about an hour now, and it's teeming with people. We've met people with broken suitcases, hoovers, telephones, and amazing, everything is getting fixed for free, with volunteers on one side and local community on the other side, and it looks like it's working brilliantly.
There was a switch that opened the door.
Right.
And this one little piece of plastic had come off, so the switch wasn't working anymore. So I replaced that little piece of plastic with a screw. I drilled a tiny hole, put a screw in, put the switch back in its place, so hopefully the thing will be working again.
I reckon press the red one. Amazing.
Yes, the lights are on.
I replaced it with a screw like this.
Right. So you replaced this bit with a screw like that, and now it's as good as new. That's amazing.
Really great.
That will save you a pretty penny and save us having to make another one.
Absolutely.
Although there are donations, the fixers aren't paid for what they do. They simply volunteer.
I'm on my way to meet Untitled Chapter. He's one of the Repair Cafe's veteran fixers.
Make your products live longer. Yeah. Things should be designed so that they can be repaired. Repairing is a creative challenge, that's really true. I was 57 when I lost my job. It's hard to get work. They put me on the scrap heap, but that's not a good thought, because you get depressed of it. You don't come any further. They try to convince you that you're useless, that you're out of date, and those kind of things. But I know that's not true.
This is a thermometer.
Yeah.
Okay. The temperature sensor. Going in.
So.
That's the switch.
Then nothing happens.
Oh,
there it is.
There it is.
Yeah. 22,
that's back.
22 degrees.
22. You fixed it.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And if I touch it, it goes on.
Because you're hot stuff. That's
yeah.
Amazing. But there you go. So we're going to open a new repair cafe in the town of Wormerveer.
Yes.
How many repair cafes do you have so far?
We have 96 repair cafes already. In Holland only.
And this is just because this model that you've come up with works well?
I guess.
No money changes hand to open a new cafe. Local people request it, and word of mouth spreads the message.
Dames en heren. Dames en heren. Ik wil even iedereen van harte welkom heten. Het eerste Repair Café van Wormerveer. We hopen dat het een heel groot succes gaat worden. En eigenlijk ben ik daar wel van overtuigd.
We're at the opening of the Wormerveer Repair Cafe. The man from the council just gave a rousing speech, and he's setting the example by fixing a lamp before everyone's very eyes.
Geweldig.
Jullie dat nou de repairing commence?
We moeten eventjes...
This is not good. I can bring you a new one.
This goes with you? This goes with the gentleman? Very good.
It doesn't make noise anymore. It did make noise and it's kaput.
If something doesn't work anymore, it's not worth anything anymore. So people throw stuff away without thinking about how it can be fixed again. People like all the people who fix here and whose knowledge is maybe thrown away, or I don't know. That this knowledge and their skills are presented like they're heroes. They're the heroes of the Repair Cafe.
I guess when we arrived, it looked like the Repair Cafe was essentially about fixing vacuum cleaners. And it is. But it's a lot more than that. It's about making use of the available materials, the available skills, and essentially about repairing communities.
It's much about the community. Because all the people came here today, live in the neighborhood here. So, and the people who are the volunteers are also living in this neighborhood. Because often people don't know their neighbors. And that you can change that with this kind of initiatives.
This is obviously one that they've installed earlier, so we just drop it in there.
Yeah.
That fits like a glove. That'll be good for about 5 years.
Yeah.